Hi everyone, I've got my fellow Cape Townian with me today. I shouldn't even have to introduce him. I shouldn't even mention his name. You know him 100%. It's the one and only Gavin Hunt. Gavin, welcome to Saying It Like It Is. This is Football Africa, man. Welcome.
Well, thanks, Peter. Well, people don't know your name, but it used to be Tricks the Toy.
Hey, there you go. Tell them. But I think I'd like to think that when they called me Tricks, it was because I did tricks while doing something with the ball, not tricks not doing something with the ball. But anyway, that's another story. It's not about me.
We needed two balls when we played with you. Yeah, one for you and one for the
other. All right, yeah. But enough about me. Gavin, just let's go straight to the present. The game, Sundowns game. I watched it. You know, I don't want to be nasty here, but in one way, it's a compliment. Your SuperSport side, with all due respect, is not the best, in my opinion, is not the best side on paper and names and experience that you've ever coached. Probably, if I look back to your Hellenic days, it reminds me of that kind of scenario.
Yeah.
And I want to be hypercritical or complimentary. It's a double-edged sword here. You have no right to be third on the league with that team. How do you manage it? And this is not trying to blow smoke up here. Manage that.
Which I knew when I came into the club. The club was not going to invest in the team. They're going to obviously, and it's out there. Multi-choice is obviously not having the best of times in the business world. So it's filtered down into the football team. And obviously, we're a club that's been around for a long time. In the short 25 years, we won so many trophies as a club. The club has been unbelievable what we've achieved. But last year was my greatest achievement, to take the team to third place, to get into Africa again, and we lined third. We could have gone top. We've had 3 games now. We could have been top of the league. Okay, it doesn't matter. 5. They've got 5 games in hand. But we certainly, for me, we're punching above our weight. We obviously, the investment in the team we're totally different streams to Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns. Even Cape Town City, they've got a very good team. Yeah. They've invested well in their team. So the club has taken a new direction, and I'm the guy that's obviously going to carry the can or the baton and try and make it competitive.
Let me put you on the spot, Kevin, because how do you get a team of kind of, let's just call them these guys they're not superstars, and you get them third, way above teams with a much bigger budget last year, for example, Kaizer Chiefs, who actually got rid of you, which you can come to a little bit later. And then look at this season, you got Pirates way below, you got Chiefs way below, you're there with Cape Town City kind of in second place. Forget the fact that multi-choice are not getting there. What is it that you're able to do that other coaches haven't been able to do? What is the kind of magic one thing?
Well, last night certainly didn't look like it, but I think the most important thing, Peter, is to be good without the ball. Now, it's easier said than done, because you take a team like Sundowns, we should, to be fair, we shouldn't be on the same field as them. I mean, if you look at it, they had a squad of players in the stands that are, millions and millions, is worth more than our franchise, let alone players. Last year we actually beat them 2-0 or 2-1. Yeah. But what happened last year, we lost 3 key players where most teams do well and then they strengthen, we do well and then we weaken. So we get in the sense of bringing the kids in. Now, they need a little bit of time. Sandra Campbell's, I've got a few of them. I've got the boy centre-back. He's M.A., Ocon. He's different class, but he'll take time, you know what I'm saying? And there's so many. My bench last night, out of the 9 subs, there are 8 of them in the Disky team. So they play Disky, play with me. They train with us. But I've got to get them better. And, the problem is in the Disky, they dominate so much there and they keep the ball. Yeah. Now, when they play at this level, they're not having the ball. So we got to, that's more coaching. So for me, it's about, you can talk and have all the stats and all the analyzing and all this. But the most important thing, you've got to do the practical work on the training ground where we stop, stand still, don't move, come in here, shifting people, shifting players. And Peter, in our day, we never got coached like that. We got coached, fucking get on with it, put the ball in the channel or whatever. Now, we got coached by fear. Our coaches coached by, we were coached by fear. We were scared and we played and we fought. And now there's more coaching involved. So I think we can take average players and make good teams. That's what I said. Right. So, and we can put people in positions to say, right, we're shifting here. Now the transition of winning the ball and trying to go the other. People can tell you what they like, Peter. I don't care what anybody says. We can coach defending, but we can't coach attacking when they get in that final third. The movement, the touch, the flick, the hold, the run off the ball.
that's instinct.
That's where you buy. That's where you buy. That's the money. That's the money end of the pitch.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
People can. I can coach. I can coach. Be just how we're going to play, what we're going to do. But when it gets to the final third, that's the difference between a player they sign for 50 million and pay him whatever they pay him a month, where I'm paying 8,000 rand a month, or 10,000 rand a month, So that's anywhere in the world. That's the difference. That's the difference.
Yeah. So the bottom line, Gavin, your reason for the success is literally, and it's a very important point for the guys listening and watching, is it's what you do off the ball that counts. If you want to be a professional footballer, you want to be a professional coach, guys out there, it's what you do off the ball. And if you think about it,
so why do African teams struggle why do African teams struggle? African team will never win the World Cup. No chance. Not as long as you're alive, long as I'm alive. No chance. And I can say Morocco last year semi-final, but because the way they play without the ball is not good enough when they play the better teams. Why does the German... when you play the Germans, we dominate them, but the Germans win. You know what I'm saying? So these teams...
People don't think that Man City are a team that plays with the ball. They're equally good without the ball.
Because what they do is... they dominate the ball, but they sort of counter press it very quickly when they lose it. They're close, so they win it again. So
suffocate you. You think, okay, they've got the ball back quickly, but the reason being is because they understand the space when they don't have the ball. But anyway, that's moving on, guys. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and to comment and to share this, because the more of you that like it, the more happy Gavin and I are, and the more I can get Gavin on. Just tell me the Egypt trip, just very quickly. I mean, that's. You come back and what really like it.
Well, I tell you, there's another story. Obviously, for budget constraints, we don't go a day earlier. We fly Friday night. We get there Saturday. We play Sunday. We get back on the plane Sunday night, and we're back here Monday, and we play Sundowns on Wednesday. You got no chance. We don't have the squad. Sundowns last night, they left out Madao, who's a Bafana player. He was in the stands. Mendieta. So they can do that, because it doesn't matter. We can't afford to do that. So I had to balance the squad. We played a lot of young players there in Egypt, which I think we can use it as a good ground for them to get better, because it's tough there. I mean, we go to Liberia. Libya, and we go to Algeria. And Egypt. It's crazy with a squad like we got. So we're under huge pressure here. But I think we can use it as a good breeding ground for them. For young players, and that's it.
How did you find the Egyptian team and the teams that you played in Africa compared to yourself?
I can say this, Peter, but it's easier said than done. I thought the Egyptian team were very weak. If we played a good first team, I think we could beat them. We'll beat them. I think that the team we're playing this Sunday, USM, they're a top side. They're a better side. They're a bigger club, big support base. They come here this weekend, and I can maybe play a stronger side because we don't have a midweek game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've been talking about Africa and Egypt. The Patrice Motsepe's big dream is this African Football League. Some people call it the Super League. Besides that, let's forget about the economies of it, and let's forget about the logistics, which are obviously problems and stuff like that. Is a league with the best teams in Africa playing home and away, like a 20-team league, is that good for the game in your opinion, or not good for the game?
I think it's bad for the game. I think it's a boys' club. So mates club, we got the 8 or 9 mates who own clubs with a load of money. What's the qualification of getting in there? So Sundowns, yes, South Africa, no problem. So why isn't there other big clubs in other nations, other countries there? Why? So it's a boys' club. Don't worry. And next year we'll invite a few of our other mates and get them in. I think it's totally wrong. It's gonna kill. It happened. Tried to go in Europe and they killed it straight away. So domestically in Africa, the leagues need to get better. That means better field, better organization. We understand it, but you can't run away and just have this group and give them all this money. And then, so what's the criteria of getting in there? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to, is it over 10 years, over 15 years? Well, if it's over the last 10 years, I think maybe SuperSport should be in there, but we'll never get invited into that. Do you understand? So,
listen, until time is the club owners who make up the league committees, probably all over Africa, until such time as we become real soccer people. And by that I mean that we respect stadiums, we respect pitches, we respect the fact that home teams have got that people, it's a game that your stadium is a cathedral, that people have got to come and watch your games. They've got to invest in coaching. They've got to invest in youth. They've got to invest a lot. Right now, we all talk about the PSL as alone, and in a disky league and so on. But the coaching from grassroots is nowhere near right. Schools football is nowhere right. Club football, and you cannot have a successful PSL without a successful schools football and a successful amateur football.
You take a country like Holland; they got 10 million people. Why are they produce players like they do produce every year? Because they got the best coaches at youth level. So until we reinvest in our youth coaches and get them more qualified, and a way that we're going to play the game, because everybody's going off, and everybody's got an academy around every corner. There's academy, and most of the academies are run by foreign people in this country, and Nigerians, Ghanaians, they run it. I'm just saying, Peter, and it's always easier. There was a great system before in apartheid days. There was a great system. The youth football and everybody played. I mean, they should have kept the system, kept everybody together, and then brought everybody in like we did. And then the coaching. Peter, we grew up with British coaches in the 70s. Yeah. They were all. So I was coached by British players, but they taught us the basics of the game. The basics of the game are not being taught at ground level. Now, I don't care if you're British, Brazilian, German, South African, we need to teach better basics. They got no understanding. And it goes back to my point. We can't play without the football. We can play with the ball. We lose the ball. Our two right wingers, our left wing and our right wing are on the same side. Our striker is in the left wing. Our centre midfield player is in the right wing. So we lose the ball. The shape is all out of the place. Now, when you play the better teams, you need a better organization of how we play. And you can say, well, that's not the African way. Oh, well, we're not going to win much.
First of all, Kevin, this is a big point. It's an important point that there's one way, and that's the right way. It's the football way. The point about people talking is the basics are very simple. When I became a pro, and this applies to people who become pros, you play the way you fit in. You play the first thing you see, and you follow the ball. And when I mean follow the ball, I don't mean you're running all over. After the ball, you play, you pass, you know that you create.
Peter, we were brought up in a 4-4-2 merchant way. Yeah. Everybody played 4-4-2, okay? And then things started to evolve with a dropping striker and another midfield player and a 3 at the back. But football is fashionable, Peter. Listen to me. It's fashion. Everybody now plays out the back 2 set. Now everybody wants to play like that. I think it's bullshit. I think it's absolute bullshit. Because if we press you, we're going to win it.
Bobby Moore at the back. If you've got Bobby Moore and Beckenbauer at the back, no problem.
No, and you've got a goalkeeper who can play. I mean, this boy at Man United now, he cost them a game last night. He cost them every week. So surely, and if you watch all the goals that gets conceded, is by trying to play, be clever. If you can. Well, that's a discussion for another day. I'm saying to you, the basics of the game, how we defend, when we defend, where we are, and people nowadays they say, defenders. What has Pep Guardiola done last year? Why did he win the Champions League? Because he went back to 4 defenders. He played 4 centre backs. Now people say, he's a genius. Do me a favour, genius. He's got people who can defend 1 against 1 because we need to play high up the pitch. Do you understand? He's gone away from these attacking fullbacks and all this nonsense. You know what I'm saying?
The best teams in the world do the basics correctly. It's really as simple as that. They do the basics correctly.
And the hardest thing in football is to play simple. Is to play a simple 10-yard ball, 5-yard ball. You know what I'm saying?
So, and I keep telling you guys, we are amateurs in this country because we don't do the basics right. The higher the level you go, you see the players do the basics all the time. And it's only the geniuses who are allowed to get away with not doing the basics because they're instinctive. They just in another. But anyway.
But I also think, Peter, you got to. What's football? It's about creating pressure in the opposition box and not having pressure in your own box. So it's a game of percentages. If we get the ball more in their box, so I don't think we create enough chances. We don't create enough pressure in the boxes, and because we want to, dilly-dally too much. And you know what I'm saying. Anyway,
I'll ask you a question. I'm not in the game intimately like you are anymore. My playing career ended a long time ago. One thing that I told everybody. What the difference for us South Africans when we got into, in those days, Hellenic and Cape Town City, was us South Africans naturally have a laid-back attitude and we're quite casual and so on and so forth. But when you got to training, those guys would give you a high if you were out of the mark. If you were rude, if you were cheeky,
I got smacked many times. Donald Rice smacked me many times. Des Bacos punched me in the chest. I was 17.
Yeah. If I nut, I love to nutmegs and do tricks.
Yes.
I'll tell you something. I couldn't do it at training.
No,
I had to do it, beat me up. They gave me a smack in the dress. I got chased right down a field. I was in the back. I'll name Big Ben Anderson for trying to nutmeg. So you learn. You take the game incredibly seriously. Seriously. That didn't mean you mustn't enjoy playing. Obviously, you enjoy scoring a goal and so on. And when I look at our football, I wonder if the players are being taught to take the game seriously. And I don't mean about drinking and stuff like that. I'm thinking about that this is
Peter, my players, they can go drink as much as they like, long as they play Saturday. You know what I'm saying? And we're so on about, they're drinking. Guys, teenage Dudler, he used to drink a flipping case a week or case the night before, and he was unbelievable in teenage. You know, teenage. Ace loved the pot. You know what I mean? And could they play?
Ace was a good friend of mine, and I can tell you now, he
easy like life. Sunday morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
So anyway, let's go into some questions. Once I went on Twitter and said I'm going to have you on, and we are going to try and do this regularly. I tell you what, I got like 100 questions, and just a few of them, because I think some of them are really interesting, Gavin. And I mean, these are your fans. So a gentleman by the name of Bandile says, Bafana is not what it was. You know the question coming. Are you open to coaching Bafana?
Definitely. I think
the
great. I've had 3 interviews, and all 3 were about. They spoke about how you're going to handle agents, how you're going to handle the media. Not one question about how we're going to play. It baffled me. So, listen, the greatest coach we had, and I don't care what anybody says, was Clive Barker. What he did, you know what Clive did well? Clive was a great... People, he's tactically nonsense. He was clever. He knew how to put a team together. And the most important thing with a national team, you need to know how to put a team together. Because you're a selector, Peter. You're not a coach, you're a selector. How we want to play, I need to select the players from the clubs. And where am I playing, Peter? I'm playing in a shithole of a place. The pitch is bad. I can't play all these ball play. Sometimes I need to play. And that's where Clive was the best. Clive, we won the Nation of the Day, 96. We qualified, and then he goes to Confed and they bullied him. I mean, are you joking?
If you look at that, by the way, in 96, which is an incredible side, there was physically a big side. I mean,
so that goes back to my next point. People say, Gavin Hunt doesn't like small players. Messi's small. Messi's strong, my friend, and he's quick. Yeah. If you're small, you need to be quick. But you know how big that Barcelona team was? They were big, Barcelona, but Messi was small. So,
he's a giant.
The point I'm saying, Peter, we need a bit of size, we need a bit of strength, we need a bit of power. The game is about power now. Yes, we can play it, but you need a bit of power when there's going to be, and that Bafana, that era, they could play with doctor and shoes, and they could fight, and they could win games.
Tinkler and Buthelezi in the middle with doctor and shoes. I mean, you had Fish.
Lucas, have you seen the size of that team compared to our team now? I mean, I had supper with Bruce 2-3 weeks ago, and he says, he's going to have the Nations Cup. The ball's going to come in the box. Who the hell is going to hit the flipping thing and help us? And who's going to, because aerially we'll get physically. And then you say, we need to play our style. But you're going to get out muscled. They're going to kill you. You know what I'm saying?
You had supper with him. I'll ask you off air what you discussed, but that's another story.
No, it was great. I mean, listen, here's a guy. He's got so much knowledge. He's played in a World Cup. He's coached at the highest level. He's won a Nations Cup. He's played. And there's a disrespect about the guy. I mean, PSL not helping. We shouldn't play on the 30th. We're playing on the 5th. I mean, I see there's a Cape Town Spurs playing the 31st. They going to camp on the 5th. We should stop the 23rd. Give the players a week off. Let them recuperate, whatever. For Bafana, help a little bit here and there. You know what I mean?
And I think the softer PSL problem is not helping. But anyway, then a guy called Biggie and another guy called Constitution First. Big question. Everybody wants to know. Yeah. Would you coach Chiefs again?
Yeah. I mean, Peter, come on, let's be honest. I mean, listen, we got to the semi-final of the Champions League. They ever get it? Well, and then they obviously got to the final. But I got the bullet on the semi-final. So it's a real. I mean, it's a great club, great institution. They need They needed an overhaul. They've done a complete overhaul now since I've left. And now they've got a whole new team in. And that it needed 3-4 years ago. Jeff Butler, when Jeff Butler went into Chiefs, he got rid of Ace, teenage. There was a huge outroar. Remember those days? They wanted to slaughter Jeff. The next season, Jeff Butler won 5 trophies. So come on. Peter, you can't let a team get old together. Never. Correct. And the team was old, and it's the nature of the beast. The team needed changing, and it was one of those things. And
then why weren't they patient with you? I mean, why hire you?
Well, maybe they don't like me. Obviously, Peter, you don't fit in. Maybe they don't like you. They don't like you as a person. They don't like your mannerism. They don't like you this, that. But if you hire someone, you got to leave them to let them get on with it, and then let them fail. But you got to give it a. I needed to get to the end of the season. I was 2 games away from the end of the season, and then change. You know what I mean?
Kevin, I'm surprised on the answer, because in football, and I guarantee you, there's tons of players that you pick regularly that you don't like as people.
I'll tell you one thing, Peter. I hate these coaches, and I won't mention names. They hug their players. It's all for show. It's all a lot of bullshit. When they lose, are they hugging their players? No, you don't see them hugging their players. So, yes, we got to have a good relationship. Yes, we got to have an environment where we're all working towards a common goal. But you can't. I don't like to be false with a player. Why? I see these guys. I never saw Jurgen, what's his name, Alex Ferguson, hug his players. You know what I mean? Too much. But you got to play.
I think everything's social media nowadays. Tell me. Then a guy called Changing Faces. He says, your view of big clubs, and this I think is a very good question, in particular what happened to Wits. When they bought in and what's happened. These guys that can just come in and buy a PSL club.
When Wits was sold, we weakened the league. Wits was the only club that could have challenged Sundowns. We were the only club. Yeah. And we were. Yeah. I was there 6 years. Third, second, first, third, 5 years. So we were the only club. And we would have been the club that would have challenged Sundowns now for the league. Right. Nobody else. I'm telling you. Because we had the environment was good. We had a good youth structure. Our scouting was good. We knew what we wanted. The team was evolving. We never let the team get old together. Players were changing at the right time. Most important thing, you got to change your club when you're winning. When you're winning, change your team. When you're losing, obviously, you need to keep hold of it. But when you're winning, you can introduce a few kids here and there. Give them time, because you know the time comes. And that club was a fantastic football club. And we only weakened and made South African football weaker with Wits going. And then we sell it to some Mickey Mouse.
I don't believe that people should be allowed to buy PSL clubs and move them. I think if you want to buy, for example, a Wits, you buy in Wits, but Wits stays and it stays in that area. That's absolutely.
What's the biggest complaint is having in football? No supporters in the stadiums. But if you keep changing names, imagine if you said, man, so the Arabs come in and buy Man City, right? And we change it to, I don't know, Woking United, and we move it to London. So what happens to all those Man City people? What happens to the supporters? So
they wouldn't allow it, Gavin. They wouldn't allow it. And you spot on that. Why would you support a team in an area when you know it could be sold in 2 years?
Now, Wits, Wits never had a great support, but we had a good 1,000 people every week. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That used to come, the regulars used to come. Now they've been told, it's Maruma Galans in Venda. Are you joking with me? So I think, I don't know if the PSL can, I don't think you can say you can't sell the club, but I think there's got to be a rule that the club needs to stay for at least 3 years in the same place, same name, blah, 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 take over. They even changed the colours.
You can't buy Man United and move it to London. You can't buy a team in London 100%. And move it to Newcastle. In the discussion, 100%. It should never be allowed. Yeah. And it's the biggest weakness in our football. Alex MKN says he's a big fan of Tawa Matoho. Why didn't you sign him?
Well, I think, why isn't Eric playing now? I think Eric knows, and I think the time has come. You know what I'm saying? And I like Eric. He's a good soldier. Yeah. He was a great servant for Chief. But the time has come. If you look at it, why hasn't Eric got a club now? Because, Peter, why are you not playing? Why I'm not playing? Because, your legs go and the time comes and Father Time catches up with you. So I think Eric, I feel sorry for him because, but that's why I say with football clubs, people say, oh, the clubs are not loyal. The clubs are loyal. They look after you over your period of time. But the time comes where you're too old and you must find a club. And I feel sorry for Eric. That's life. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I feel Eric came down, but I already had 3-4 centre backs, and we couldn't do anything. That was the main reason. But obviously Eric is right at the end, and he's not playing now.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for him. Yeah.
Well, it's like football doesn't wait for anybody. This is going back to your question on Chiefs. Yako Yisrael says, how long do you think it would have been before you would have won trophies at Chiefs?
The next season.
Yeah.
Because people were back. I played with no supporters. No supporters.
Yeah.
The supporters give you an extra 10 points a season. I don't care. Chief supporters, and not at home, away. When you play in Cape Town, PE, Durban, Chiefs, I went with there was no people. We had COVID. So we had no supporters. We couldn't sign any players. The club had just lost it. I found it very strange that Ernst Middeldorp left. They lost the league by 15 points. Came second. The best result they've had in years. And he left. Well, they fired him. So I was like, wow, okay. And then obviously when I came in, Norkovic didn't train for 6 months. Didn't want to know. Billy broke his leg, so we got nothing. So all the players he used last year were gone. So now I bring the kids in, try and build a new team. They told me we'll build a new team. Okay, takes time. All those guys, Nagobo, now they're only starting to play now again, 2 years later, 3 years later. Happy Mashiani, Maseko, Darren Macheke has gone to Stellum. Good player. But now with me, he would have been another 2 years down the line. Do you understand? You know what I'm saying? So
he lost place. I think there was also the midfielder. What's his name? He was at Cape Town City. He's just retired. He's coaching at Cape Town City now. Super player, very skillful player. He had a great season under with Nurkovic and the midfielder.
Manyama. But with me, his leg had gone already. He couldn't play, 2 games a week. His leg had gone already, and we needed more legs around him to play him in an area where he could be more effective, because now I'm asking him to track back and drop in, and then he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it.
Everybody is clear from all these questions, and myself included, and I didn't really discuss it with you, even from a friendship basis, is I still don't understand why they weren't more patient, because, it was COVID, it was no transfers. I think you were in hiding for nothing going there when there were no transfers.
I also think, I think the biggest, it's easy talking about it now, but I think the biggest mistake is obviously I inherited all the staff as well. There was a lot of staff there that have been there with a lot of coaches. They would be there, I think, with 4 or 5 coaches already. No disrespect to anybody. They were good at their jobs. But obviously I come in, I want to do it a certain way. They've had 5 coaches. No, we want to do it this way. So there was, there was that type of thing as well. And then I ended up isolated, and then I'm on my own, and then they sort of in there, 5, 6 of them or 8 of them, all no problems with the guys. I'll greet them. How's it going? Yeah. But obviously they've been there with a lot of coaches, and I think you need to change a little bit more when you change the head coach. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. In fact, whoever takes a job now should bring in his own team. A gentleman, Ashal Manecha, says, what do you think of the current state of the PSL now versus 10 years ago, 5 years ago?
Well, I think there's a Sundowns, and then there's the rest, and then there's a group of another 4 or 5 teams, and then there's the rest. I think the standard is not, and it's always, Peter, the older you get, we always think the better it used to be. But if I look at it, and then people say, oh, but you won the league on 55 points or 58 points or 60 points. They win the league on 75 points. Yeah, but the teams are more competitive then, and there was a better filter of players through the teams. What's got to come into the PSL? I don't care what anybody says. There's got to be a squad minimum of 25. Yes, do you understand what I'm saying? There's got to be a FIFA fair play of money spent, of money gained, because it's out of proportion. It's out of proportion. What I can't tell you on the air, but what the players earn from when they're with us and when they went to Sundowns now is, it's just, I sold our youngster 18-year-old last year, Maseko. It's just, it's out of sync. So
I think early, because he's not getting a game, and this is the most important development time for him personally. But anyway, that's another story.
And a club like SuperSport, 2 players or 3 players make a huge difference. And so we sell our 3 best players, or very good players. Patrick goes to Pirates, Maseko goes to Sundowns, and Titi, my centre-back, goes to Chiefs. So 3 of my key players, now so I'm taking an 18-year-old Sandra, put him in there. I've got another centre-back, 18-year-old. My number 10 position, we got Terence Ruka, but he's not more 10, he's, and more 9 type of striker. So now you plug in holes. and then they go to these places, and sometimes they don't even play. You know.
Yeah, which I think is bad.
It weakens. So listen, I respect them tremendously. They're fantastic. They put their money where they've spent. But I just think minimum squad size, that'll give another 20 players to other clubs. And there's got to be a FIFA fair play on financials. Money in, money out. I don't know how they do it, but something's got to happen. Like it does in Europe. Look at Everton now. Look at Everton. Look at, there's something's got to happen. But I don't think it'll ever happen. I don't think it'll ever happen.
I agree. Question, very, very good question. Kaizer Madalane. And the player I'm going to mention now, he wants to know your thoughts on this guy. To me, this epitomizes the professional footballer in South Africa's kind of journey. Phakamani.
Disgrace. Biggest waste of talent. Biggest disgrace. Obviously, we had him in our youth team, our Disky team. It was Glenn Salmon. He was the coach. And Glenn, he played wide for Glenn. I said, Glenn, I think he's a striker, number 9, a running number 9. He can work a channel. He's so quick. Yeah. And I took him in the first team. I played him up front. We played the first game against Platinum Stars away. I played him number 9. He scored a hat-trick. I said, well, there you go. Remember. And then we went to play Al-Ahly in the Champions League. 70,000 people. They had Gourmet. Remember Gourmet, the big centre-back?
Yeah.
The ball there.
Yeah,
he had to pay to come back in the ground. I mean, he was fucking running behind him, over him. And they ended up signing him. He had a great move. I mean, his salary went from, 20,000 Rand a month to, 500,000 Rand a month. But they put him in Egypt, put him in a hotel. There's only one way. And then he comes back, and then he's at Sundowns, obviously he falls out there. Then I take him to Chipper. I go to Chipper, I think, have some fun in the sun. Let's go down there by the beach. I bring him down there. Plays the first game, he plays Pirates, he scores a goal. He's 10 kilos overweight. The second game he plays Stellenbosch, snaps his Achilles tendon, out for the season. Then I come back to SuperSport. He phones me, can I come and train? I said, Phakamani, you don't need 6 weeks, you need 6 months. Okay? I said, but we can get you right in 8 weeks. So anyway, I got him no football. I got him pulling tires, he shed weight. He was losing weight like this. He just stops. He said, no, I can't do this anymore. He fell out of love with the game. He's 23, 24 years old. Disgrace.
Sad.
He should be in the national.
I thought he was going to
you've got pace, Peter, in football, you know pace. You don't have to be a great player, but if you've got pace, you can get away with it, and people are scared of pace. People are scared of it.
Yeah. Well, you're a defender. I mean, if you go tight, you're stuffed. If you stand off him, you're stuffed because he can. What do you do?
The older you get, you go further back. So you're not running behind me because you'll run out.
You tell the centre back, tuck in behind me.
I see the advertising boards are quite close to me.
But I mean, to me, it's a tragedy of South African football. We can name a whole long list of players that have gone that way. I don't understand. Is it a social thing in this country? Is it a father figure thing in this country? Is because you can't blame.
I'll tell you a story. Can I tell a true story? I mean, it's actually a bad story. I was at a restaurant a couple of years ago. He wasn't unlucky. Then he left us, and they were having a good time. He had about 6 mates because they always got mates. They got money. Anyway, I called the waiter over. I said, come here. I said, what's the bill there so far? He said the bill was 45,000 Rand. Okay, the bill so far. They were drinking Hennessy's and he's 21 years old. I said to the waiter, it was 45,000 Rand. I said, if you serve another drink there, I'm personally going to, the waiter up. I said, you cancel that bill, out. He obviously, they paid, they obviously went somewhere else. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. So where's your mentality? I'm trying to speak to the boy, but yeah.
Tragedy. No, maybe the thing is people should get only a percentage of their salary and the rest gets put in after 30 or something. But I suppose
obviously, Peter, in South Africa, there's a black tax. You know, black tax. They don't look after the family, they look after the street, basically. And I feel for these boys. I feel for them. But they've got to manage their money because at the end of the day, it's not that these people are going to suffer. They're going to suffer, the player, because they're going to have nothing at the end of the day for themselves. So I do think we do need to put a percentage like they do and have a pension scheme because you need to get on a retirement annuity, a pension scheme. And I know it's difficult. Listen, I deal with these guys for 30 years. I know it's difficult. They got aunties and uncles and grannies, but they cannot, because at the end of the day, they suffer. They suffer.
Yeah. Actually, a good story. Thabo Ngameni, a good friend of mine, what a wonderful player as well. Thabo told me a story that obviously he earned decent money. I mean, not like the kind of money they earn now.
No. Yeah.
But he got ill and he had to go to hospital and he was very worried and stuff like that. And his mom said, you know what, don't worry. You sorted. And she said, why? He said, well, I haven't told you because Ivan Kuza told me not to tell you, but he's actually put money away for you. That was part of your salary. And okay. So that, I'm sure Ivan's done that.
Ivan's very good, eh? He's very good, Ivan, eh? You know, Ivan's a tough old bastard, eh? But he's good, eh? He handles players well, and you've got to commend him, you know. I'm not saying nobody else is, but I mean, if you're a Sundowns player now, and you have a good 8 years, and you look after your money, you can look. I mean, these Tebogo McQueeners now, and Ronwen Williams and these boys, if they look after their money now, they sort it. They sort it.
And hopefully they become good role models for everybody.
Yeah.
I think you've already answered this question, but a lot of people have been asking this question. I'll just use one guy. He says, what made your league-winning team at SuperSport so good? What was it, if you could describe it? Hey?
You know, Peter, you must never listen to these fucking coaches that tell them how good they are, coaches that tell you how good they are, because it's bullshit. You need good players. If you got good players, listen, a bad coach can still win with good players. But you know what I'm saying? A good coach will fucking take them really up. And I've never had that. I've never really had an opportunity to buy wherever I want to buy and do whatever I want to do. Yes, it fits me. But Wits was clever. SuperSport, we were clever. We had more money coming in than going out. You know, we were clever. We boxed clever. We sold. We reinvested. But when I got to SuperSport, I said, right, there's only one thing we need to do is we're going to play 15 yards up the pitch. So people say, what are you fucking talking about? Because the game today, Peter, if you play 15, 20 meters up the pitch, we got the opposition where we want them. I thought we were playing far too deep. We were playing from our box. And now you've got to be really good to play. We've got to have 45 passes to get where we want to go. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So it was a matter of getting players, and especially centre-backs. What made Liverpool win the league? Van Dijk. Why? Because Van Dijk can play on the halfway line. Why was Harry Maguire so bad? Why is he so bad at Man United? Because he has to play on the halfway line. Why was he so good at Leicester? Because he played on the edge of the big box. So he defends in front of you. A good defender can defend in front and behind. So I got Bombani Komalos, Morgan Goulds. We're pushing up. We're going to play higher. We're taking a chance. No, coach. I said, listen to me. This is where we're going to. If you don't listen to me, you're out. So I did the same at Wits.
Two things just to back your point there. The biggest change Pep made, people think, was when he went to Barcelona. Was all this? He made them play much higher. He said to the captain Puyol, "You got to play off the halfway line now." And he went, "But I don't have pace. Well, then you can't play in this team."
Then you can't play in the team. And make sure you win the first tackle. You know what I mean?
And then if you do think about it, Liverpool, when they won the league under Klopp, the first one,
Van Dijk changed everything.
More long ball than any other team, because Van Dijk, when he got the ball, and Trent Alexander hit Mane and hit Salah early. When you got Mane and Salah there, quickest guys in the world, you'll find them early.
And Arnold plays Robertson, and Robertson plays Arnold, big diagonals. Yeah. So people say, oh, they play football. Bullshit, they play fucking long balls down the channels, down the sides, you know what I'm saying? You know, and they get in the goal scoring. But you're keeping the pressure on higher up the pitch. So is it rocket science? No, it's not fucking rocket science. So don't let any coach tell you, it's all me, or me, it's me, this, my tactic. Bullshit, man. Do me a favor. Good players. They can help you. You know what I'm saying?
But just then we were talking about Phakamani, another player I want to ask you about, because everybody talks about him. Zongo. Yeah.
I said, so I had Dan Clayton, I had Zongo on the left wing in the team that won the league. Anyway, so Dan Clayton got injured. We played Chiefs at Lucas. So I said, Zongo, listen, son, fucking stay wide, one touch out of your feet and fucking put the ball in the box. That's all you got to do, okay? And tuck in. Okay, son? I look again, he's playing right wing. And he's playing right back. I said, what are you doing here? He said, no, he wants to play football. I said, well, you're not going to play in this fucking team. Stay on the left wing. We're going to get the ball to you. Anyway, he stayed there, crossed it. We won the game, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, By the third game, he gets the ball. Now he's looking, no pass. You know that no pass, shakes from Guani, shakes, no look passes. Chippa Molatedi, no look passes. I said, what is all this shit now? No. No, but, you know, then he's doing all the flicks and tricks. I'll tell you a quick story. We play Bromby in a friendly. You know Bromby from Denmark?
Yeah.
They come here.
Yeah.
They come here.
Top team.
We go to Polokwane. It's 30-degree heat, fucking boiling. So Zongo's on the bench. We're 4-0 up. So I'd say, okay, Zongo, you coming on. Zongo, don't fuck around. Just get the ball wide, get the ball in the box. That's all your job you got to do. He makes a trick. I stopped the game after 2 minutes. I said, ref, I took him off. Fucking change, back off again. Never played. I said, got rid of him. Unbelievable. Yeah. Brilliant. Lovely person, great character. He was in the group, Peter, with Kamalkhela Makojo, Kermit Erasmus, Ronwen Williams, that whole group of the under-19s. He was the best player. He went to Feyenoord. They loved him. Yeah. They loved him. But
there was a Dutch coach. There was a Dutch coach who was heading up your youth when you were at SuperSport. Yeah. I forget his name.
Nico, what's his name? I think Nico. He never worked with me, my time, but he was running the youth, you know? Yeah.
Anyway, he told me, then it may have been a different one. He told me that Zongo, if he could just stop with his tricks, he could have played in Europe.
Easy.
He said because he strikes.
He's the best passer. He's the best weight. You know, Peter, I always call it the weight passer. You know the weight. He always plays the right weight. Behind the defense, diagonals, round the back of people, the weight. He was a fantastic footballer. Fantastic player. You know?
Listen, I'm not going to ask you any more readers' questions. There are lots more. I want to ask you a couple of my own because you got me laughing here. The best player you coached?
Oh, there's been a few. I mean, I can go back to 7 Stars. You know, when I had Benny and Chippa Molatedis. I mean, Chippa was past it then. Trevor Mundunkulu's. I mean, they were sort of my age, and I'd stopped because I couldn't run. My Achilles were buggered, but they were at the end. But I think in South Africa, I think Pelembe, Elias Pelembe, for me. Yeah. He was, you know, he comes to South Africa, Peter. So he comes to training. Anyway, I'll tell you the story. We sell Tico Medici. He goes to Pirates. I said, fucking hell, Stan, what are you killing me, Stan? My best player. He said, listen, I got this fucking player from Mozambique. You got to have a look at him. I said, Stan, Mozambique, they fucking fishermen there. They fucking, what do they do there? They fish and fucking they sugar cane, whatever they do. I don't know. Anyway, he comes down to training. He's got legs the size of fucking, I mean, he's like pins. I said, where's he going to play? He can't speak English. I said, oh, fuck. Anyway, I said, right, come in a session. I put him in a session. I ran off the training ground to my phone. I got in my car. I phoned Jose. I said, Jose, fucking sign this oak. San, sign this oak. What? No, you like him. I said, sign him. Anyway, cut a long story short, South African Footballer of the Year that year. He made the South African Football of the Year. Fantastic.
He played I reckon he played until he was 40. Unbelievable.
He still played. He's the captain of Mozambique. We still talk. You know, I tell Peter the best story. I used to go, Pelembe, for fuck's sake. He said, thank you, coach. Pelembe, make the run. Thank you, coach. Pelembe, cross the ball. Thank you, coach. That's all he said to me in 2 years.
Fantastic. It was a super player. You know, I just can't think of their names now. My memory's going. You had 2 players played up front for you 2 big guys played up front for you at Black Leopards, man.
Malondo Sikulele and Coxel Rachivadelo. Coxel Rachivadelo, he could hit the ball further than he could fucking kick it.
They look pretty effective. I remember you beat Hellenic 3-1 at Greenpoint Stadium. I watched the game. And the two of them were superb.
We beat Chiefs. I'm telling you now, there was 50,000 people on a Sunday afternoon in Tohando. Mushin had just come. You know Mushin. I don't know, you know, I love Mushin. He's a great guy. And Mushin's going fucking mad. And we fucking running them, they're bashing them. And I'm just saying, hit Coxwell, he's smashing Patrick Mabedi, he was smashing him. We won 3-0.
We'll talk about your Black Leopard days another time, because there must be some stories with David Tadele, and it was a character.
Brilliant, David. I love David. Great guy.
Your club owners, who is the most fun? If there's such a thing.
You know, sometimes, do you want a club owner that interferes, or you want a club owner that doesn't say a word?
Did a lot interfere?
Well, David did, yeah. I'll give you an example. So I work for the Greeks. I mean, you know, the Greeks, Hajidaki. Yeah. So we used to have those Monday meetings. I got, you know, the table biscuits and teas and throwing up in the air. And there was some heated exchanges, those Monday meetings. Those were brilliant. Then I went to Rob Moore. Rob Moore used to pull me in the office on a Friday and fucking have the bottles and the tops and, coach, you need to play like this. We need to go like this, and we need to do this. And I said, Rob, we're playing on a fucking sandpit. Nyanga, there's no grass. We can't play on the grass. We've got to play over the grass. Anyway, then you go to David Adela. David used to phone me on a Friday. He said, what's the team? I said, no, you can't play that team. I said, David, I picked the team. You tell them, fucking make the change. Then we win. He said, oh, you're a brilliant coach. If we lose, oh, I'm a shit coach. And he come in at halftime. Hey, take Malonda off. Hey, take Vusi off. Take this one off. I said, David, out and dressing him. But he was passionate about his team. And we worked well together. And we worked well together. And then you go to, then I ended up with like Stan and Stan, I mean, you don't see Stan. So, you don't talk. I had Jose. Jose was brilliant with me. Jose was the best guy for me because who motivates the motivator? And he always used to tell me, trust my gut, go with your feelings, don't worry, we played well, or what do you think? And I knew Jose, when he wanted a player to play, he would say to me, Coach, Gavin, how's Peter doing at training? Now, Peter hasn't played for fucking 6 weeks. No, Peter's doing well. It's like you say, maybe you should play, you know what I mean?
Gavin, the best player you played against?
Hey?
The best player you played against?
As a player?
Yeah, as a player.
As a player, I've got to say, I mean, I loved Ace. I loved Ace. Ace was, and the nice thing about Ace, he was a nice person.
Very nice.
He never had a nasty streak in him. But I would say the player that I thought should have gone much higher was Teenage. Fuck me. If Teenage went to Europe, Jesus, man. He ran faster with the ball than he ran without the ball. The ball was on his foot like that, and he would run, and he would, he was brilliant. I love Teenage.
When I played at Atlantic and Cape Town City, had top ex-pros, hard guys who knew how to play players. They set up traps for Teenage to do him, and they couldn't.
He jumped over the tackle. He was great.
He played left and he came in. He was right-footed playing wide left.
Yeah, played the left and he cut in. Yeah.
Would say, Ben Anderson, who was a tough guy, would say to the fullback, Terry, I'll come, and Sandy Allen would come from the right, and they couldn't touch him. And guys I can tell the guys who are viewing out there, people like Teenage Ludler, Ace Selenga, Malomba Lachaba was a good player as well, hard player, super player.
Malomba was a very European type of player, one touch, two touch. He played it simple, but he had great work ethic, box to box, box to box.
And he could do you. He could get nasty as well.
Yeah, he was strong, man. He was strong, I mean, for me, like Wagga Wagga up front, fuck it, he was hard to play against. I played against Wagga Wagga. He fucking elbow into you, bash you first, he'd stand on your foot. Wagga Wagga was tough. He was hard as nails.
He was short and go. I don't know if you played against him. He was quick as lightning.
Yeah.
I played against Shaba one day. People asked me what he's like, and I'll never forget. I think he basically took out his anger at apartheid on me. Went up for a header. I was the best in the air. Hit me. I came down. He saw me on the ground. He stood on my chest. Turned the studs in. As I looked up again, he gave me a little kick. I was like, Jesus.
Shakes was nasty. Shakes was nasty.
Yeah,
but anyway, Shakes had a nasty streak in him, Yeah.
But you know what? That's part of the game. Gavin, listen, this is superb. It's almost an hour gone. It's been brilliant. We're going to do this again, Gavin, because we haven't gone through
brilliant
a third of the questions. You've been incredibly entertaining, incredibly forthright, incredibly honest. I've loved it. I've laughed my head off. And I haven't even gone into all my questions. You've been a star. Guys, please don't forget to like, to subscribe, comment, because there's a hell of a lot in here. And share with your friends. Tell her, and Gavin and I will be back in a week or two. He's obviously got a very busy schedule. Gavin, any last words you want to say till next time?
No, great. Peter, I mean, we go back a long way. I mean, I remember we did our army service together. Remember that one? You were just finished. You were finishing. I just was coming in that 1 year.
I hope you're a better soldier than I was. I was only interested in the football. But anyway.
Hey, the best fight I've always done, I won by 100 meters, the best fight always.
Yeah. Anyway, brilliant, Gavin. We speak again. All right.
Okay, Peter. Thanks, mate. Cheers, mate. Cheers.